Hi everybody, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors. And this week's contract tip has to do with HOA letters, Homeowners Association letters. They are becoming an increasingly bigger issue and potentially problematic for our clients at the closing table. So 3 things to be aware of regarding HOA letters. Number 1, the contact information. Number 2, the fees for the letters. And number 3, the existence of an initiation fee for a new buyer. So let me back up to the contact information. It will behoove all agents in the transaction, listing agent as well as buyer's agent, to do everything you can. If you're a listing agent, do what you can to get the Homeowners Association contact information up front before you even list the property. If you are a buyer's agent, do everything that you can prior to the end of due diligence to get that contact information on behalf of the buyer. Regardless of who gets it and who has it and who confirms it, please make sure that your closing attorney does have that contact information as well. They desperately need that contact information. Here's the issue. The issue is with TRID in place and how the closing disclosures are being prepared by the lender as well as by the closing attorney. Everybody needs the Homeowners Association letter and fees and so forth and so on. The problem is the lender typically needs it at least 2 weeks or more prior to closing. However, many of the homeowners associations, those letters are only good for 2 weeks. So if the closing attorney orders the letter, sends it to the lender, and the closing is outside of 2 weeks, or there's a delay in closing for whatever reason, typically another letter needs to be ordered with a rush, and they charge a rush fee. Additionally, there are all types of letters. There's the clearance letter to make sure that the existing seller does have the, all the HOA dues and fees are paid up in full. And then there is another letter that is a buyer cost for the buyer to establish their account with the Homeowners Association. So it gets very confusing regarding HOA letters and fees. The existence of an initiation fee. There are a lot of times on the seller's community association disclosure exhibit that the seller will say there is not an initiation fee associated with this association. And they are really saying that because they never had to pay one and they are not aware of the existence of an initiation fee. However, in the bylaws of an HOA, there could be the existence of an initiation fee that just the association has chosen to not act upon for the past several years, but that is still in the bylaws, and now the association can choose to enact the initiation fee again at this point in time. So that is something to definitely be aware of and find out about. So again, what happens is we have a buyer and a seller. They're all excited about the transaction. We're getting close to closing, or we're at the closing table, or we're a couple days outside of closing, and we have this issue of the fees, these HOA letters and rush fees and additional letters and who's paying for what and so forth and so on. And it can end up leaving a negative impression for the buyer and the seller on a day that's supposed to be really exciting and really happy and a really exciting transaction, buying and selling a house. So I encourage both buyers and sellers agents to definitely get this worked out in advance and know what the fees are, what the timelines are, what the time frames are. Absolutely make sure you get your closing attorney this information, because the closing attorney typically orders the HOA letter and then sends that on to the lender, and they need that information. The sooner the better they have it, the better they can help out with the transaction. A special stipulation from closing attorney Amee Davis of Davis & Associates to help out with this situation and avoid any confusion as you get closer to closing. Again, it's much better to set expectations, get everything worked out up front before it is an issue. So thank you, Amee Davis, for this special stipulation, and here's what it is. Seller will pay the fee for the first Homeowners Association letter. All other fees associated with HOA letters and updates are to be paid for by the buyer. Seller will pay fee for the first homeowners association letter. All other fees associated with HOA letters and updates are to be paid for by the buyer. So, of course, it depends on what side you're on, but there really are, regarding the HOA letters, there really are some that are seller fees and some that are buyer fees. So, hope that helps out. Again, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, satisfying your needs with service, innovation, and education.